welcome back to my channel, Daydreaming. My name is Haley J. Jones. This is Bear, and today we're going to be going over our top 10 favorite products for dog owners. Okay, so Bear is 8 months old. She is an Akita, which is kind of similar to a Husky or an Alaskan Malamute. But we got her from a breeder. We originally wanted to rescue, but we couldn't really find an Akita that was rescuable. A lot of them have some pretty deep-rooted aggression issues, so we wanted to get her from a breeder and make sure that we raised her upright. She is definitely a winter dog, so she's having some tough time in the summer, which we'll get into when I talk about grooming. But I wanted to share with you guys my favorite products as a dog owner that have helped us either train her or raise her up to be a great dog, and then also just to kind of make sure that she's happy in our home. Okay, so the first thing is a crate. Some people call it a kennel. Basically, it's just a big cage. I'll try to insert some sort of picture or video of ours. But basically, this is like my day one product for having a dog. You can put your puppy in there when you first get them, and it teaches them like potty training and how to hold their bladder. Because naturally they don't want to go in the same place that they would like sleep or spend most of their time. It's also great because you are putting your puppy in a place where they can't get into trouble or get into anything that might hurt them. So if you are not, sorry, she's drinking out of her water bowl, so if you can hear that. But if you are not able to, fully watch your puppy, so like total supervision, you're gonna wanna have them in a confined space like a crate, because it stops them from getting into things that might hurt them, like electrical cords or some kind of chemicals or like cleaning supplies, but also it stops them from getting busy with activities that maybe you would rather them not do. So like chewing on your couch or chewing on your table legs of your dining room table. Those types of things can develop really bad habits if they continue to happen. So it's best to keep your puppy away when you can't watch them and you can't kind of stop those habits right when they start happening, so they don't find out that, oh, chewing on the couch is really fun. I think I'm going to do that more often. But yeah, and then obviously while you're away as well. So if you have to run to the store, you have to run to a friend's house, whatever it may be, obviously you want to make sure that you aren't keeping them in the crate longer than they should be in the crate for, because that's unhealthy, obviously. But it's a great way to leave your puppy at home and know that they're going to be safe while you're out running a couple errands. Okay, so next up is a harness. Bear is about 65 pounds now, so she is very, very strong. And those kind of working breeds tend to like to pull, especially on walks or things like that. And so she pulls me everywhere on walks. And so we decided to get a special kind of harness. This is a front clip harness, and I'll try to insert some sort of video or something of her actually having it on. But so how it works is this goes on her back, so this goes around her belly, and this goes around her head. So this part is on her chest area, and what happens is when she pulls to go forward, so whatever she decides she wants to pull towards, it actually takes the body weight of her body, so uses her own body weight to pull her back towards me, actually. So it kind of tricks their brain into thinking, okay, I want to get to something in the distance, but pulling doesn't get me there, because when I pull, I just get turned around. And so it's so much more pleasant to walk her now. She barely pulls at all, especially with this harness on. We got this at a pet store, just local, but I know they have them on Amazon. I'll try to link something, or if I can try to figure out the specific brand that we got, I'll do that as well. This is adjustable, so it's going to grow with her, which I really like, but this has completely changed the game when it comes to walking Bear. So next up is just a simple rake brush. So we talked about Bear and how she is a cold weather dog. So she has two kind of sets of fur. So she has an overcoat and an undercoat. And when it's hot outside, she sheds like a maniac. So we try to brush her at least once a day, maybe once every other day, and we just use a simple rake brush. We just got this at PetSmart or Petco or something like that. But really it's just to kind of go over her fur, make sure we're getting any of that shedding out, because the more we brush out, the less will be on my floors. But also it's a great way to kind of bond with your dog, spend 10 to 15 minutes with them. And also it's really great because if your dog has never seen a brush before or something like that, and then you take them to a groomer, they're gonna be really, really scared. But if you just practice kind of brushing over your dog every day or every other day, when they go to the groomers, it's much less of a shock, and I'm sure that your groomer is going to thank you in the end. Okay, so product number 4 is potty bells. They have these on Amazon. It's actually a pack of 2, but these were an absolute lifesaver when it comes to potty training. So Akitas generally, and I know some other breeds are like this, they're not very vocal. So they don't bark a lot, they don't whine a lot, which means that they're really bad at telling you when they have to go to the bathroom. And as you can imagine, when you're trying to potty train a puppy, that is very hard. So we got these potty bells and trained her to use these. Okay, so these are the potty bells, and basically how you use them, there's tons of like training videos, so I'm not gonna go into that. But basically you just hang them by your door, and then your dog will just kind of smack them when they're like ready to go out. So that's super nice because obviously you can get to know when your dog needs to go outside, and you're not having to constantly guess and take them out or risk them having accidents in the house. So I would definitely recommend these. These were a game changer when it comes to potty training. There is like a small window of time where they think ringing the bells just means going outside and playing, and there's videos again on how to differentiate playtime from potty time when using the bells, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, and as she gets older, she uses them less and less because she has to go less and less. But it's still nice because if I'm in my bedroom and she's hanging out in the living room, and I hear the bells, I know she's saying, "Okay, Mom, it's time. I need to go outside." So there's no guesswork really. It definitely helps you and the dog kind of communicate with a common language when it comes to potty time. Okay, so the next 2 kind of go hand in hand. The first one are low-calorie treats. And I know that sounds kind of weird because it's a dog, and they don't need anything like low-calorie. But actually they do, especially with large breed dogs. They tend to be a little more prone to obesity, which can really make their joints suffer. They can lead to other injuries, other health problems, obviously. And when you are obedience training, you're using a lot of treats in a small amount of time. So you really want to make sure that you're giving them low-calorie treats. So we get these from our vet. They're wonderful. She loves them. They're actually pretty big, and so we cut them into 4ths. So I think originally the treat is maybe 7 calories, and when we cut them into 4ths, it turns out to be obviously way less. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend these. They were great for obedience training. She tends to like the chewier treats better for some reason, and these are chewy and they're not like the hard, like dusty dog treats. I don't know if that's how you say it, but yeah, so she really enjoyed these. We still use them for training. I don't know if my vet carries just this brand or if this brand is available anywhere else. I'll try to link something similar if I can't find this brand in the description box. Okay, and then kind of going with treats, you're also going to want to get some bones or something like that for your puppy or your dog. These are no rawhide. I don't know if you can see it right there, but it'll be this like little emblem here, no rawhide. And what that means is that they are completely rawhide free. So they're actually a little bit chewier, a little bit like bendier. And just from the research that I've been doing, especially when we first got Bear, I did not want to give her any rawhide bones because they tend to be a huge choking hazard for dogs, especially puppies. She now has a couple that she'll kind of chew on every now and then because I feel a little bit more comfortable giving them to her. But these were great because you can give them to her and not have to worry about like choking hazard or anything like that. The other thing is rawhides from like China or Mexico tend to have a little bit more like harmful chemicals in them. So if I do buy rawhides, I only ever buy them when they're made in the US. Unfortunately, they are a little bit more expensive, but I think that's a good trade-off because I want to make sure that I am keeping my dog happy and healthy, and not exposing them to any kind of harmful chemicals. Okay, and while we're on the topic of chemicals, I want to just throw in here my next product, which is Mrs. Meyer's cleaning solution, but less specifically any solution that is non-toxic or natural, basically. So I have never really been into natural cleaners. I've always used kind of just like the basic Superstore, like Pledge, Clorox, like all of that kind of stuff. Now I only use this unless it's like an antibacterial spray, which is just in our bathroom or like kitchen, and she doesn't really go in those places. But yeah, so I would definitely recommend this because dogs kind of lead with two senses, which is their smell and their taste sense. And when you are spraying Pledge, for example, usually has that like lemony kind of citrus scent. They immediately want to go over there and sniff it and lick it, and that's kind of terrifying because they're ingesting all of those chemicals, and especially with a puppy, they take much less chemicals to become, you know, really sick because of different kinds of like poisoning that are in them. It's not good for their bodies, obviously, and it can make them really, really ill in a really fast time period. So when we got Bear, I switched to Mrs. Meyer's because it's all natural. There's no harmful chemicals in it. I'm sure it's much better for us, but I also have no worries when I'm like cleaning my floor or my window ledges or baseboards or anything like that, which is where she spends most of her time, really. If you think about it, she's always on the floor, laying down, licking stuff off the floor. And so I just feel so much safer. It gives me way more peace of mind. To know that I am cleaning with something that is not harmful to her. Another thing is too, harmful chemicals, even if they're not ingesting them by like smelling or licking, can also be super irritating to a dog's skin because it's a harsh chemical and maybe then they're laying on the floor. It can really bring out their allergies, it can give them rashes, it can make them itchy. So honestly, just all in all, it's so much better to look for a simple, natural cleaner. It still does the job, but you are not kind of bringing your dog into harm's way when it comes to cleaning your house. Okay, so the next product is actually two products, but they're along the same line, so I decided to kind of lump them together, is puzzle toys. So I always thought these were kind of stupid. I kind of thought they were for people that like, I don't know, thought their dog was like smarter than every other dog. Until I did some research on them and I found out they are like so good for a dog's health, and they're great for keeping your dog busy while you're like cooking dinner or something like that. But so everyone's seen this one. This is the Kong toy. And then we have a wooden puzzle toy. So it has a little like, I don't know, these things. I'll try to get like a video of her doing it. And then these ones slide and you just hide treats in here. But mental stimulation is incredibly important for dogs. Dogs can actually become depressed if they are bored too often, which is really sad to think about. But also dogs expend energy when they're using their brains. So it's just the same as like taking your dog for a walk. You're giving them physical exercise. You also want to give them mental exercise. And so that's really great for dogs that are high energy. Because it leads them to spend their energy on something like this instead of spending energy on destroying your home and your furniture. And that I think is incredibly valuable because it teaches your dog good habits instead of letting your dog maybe go chew on something it's not supposed to be chewing on, which would be developing a bad habit. Okay, so the next product is one I'm gonna have to kind of insert a clip of. It's a baby gate, and I know that sounds kind of weird because she is a dog and not a baby, but it's been so incredibly useful. So we have a hallway that kind of leads to our living room and kitchen area, but we've decided to put a baby gate through there so she just has the run of the hallway. She has her food in there, her water, all of that good stuff, toys. But we're kind of using it to graduate from the crate to the baby gate so that she can have a little bit more freedom, a little bit more space, but still not have like full range of the house just yet. And I think that's a really great idea to kind of use increments to increase your dog's space and territory in your home. Obviously when we are here, she is more than welcome to roam wherever she wants, and we don't put her in the baby gate then. But when we sleep or when we are away for the day, we're gonna put her in that baby gate so that she isn't tempted at all to maybe get on the couch, or chew anything, all of that kind of stuff. She's getting a drink, if you can hear that, sorry. But yeah, so it really kind of controls her behavior so that she's not getting into anything that she maybe shouldn't be getting into. All right, and then the last thing I would recommend getting for your new puppy or your dog is something that brings them comfort or companionship. So we got, well, really, I got Lewis a Simba stuffed animal because his favorite movie is The Lion King. I got him this like 2.5 years ago when we were dating, and then when we got Bear, he decided to give it to her, which is fine, but she is in love with this thing. We are hiding it currently. I'll get it out. She's probably gonna try to get it, but we are currently hiding it because she has ripped it on its head, so there's like stuffing coming out everywhere. But she absolutely loves this thing. It's filthy. I probably need to run it through the wash too. But it just allows your puppy to kind of have like something that is just theirs and no one else really touches it. And they usually will like sleep with it in their crate. But also it really comes in handy when you are traveling places with your puppy that maybe don't have like familiar smells, or things like that. We just recently boarded her at a boarding facility. And we let her take this with her because, yeah, there it is, because it smells like home. And so she was really excited about that, obviously. It's basically just having some kind of familiar item there that you can, that they can take with them that smells like home so they don't get as homesick. And they've had it since they were a puppy. One thing I would recommend is kind of teaching them to be really gentle with it. So never playing like tug of war or anything like that with it, because then they'll just like want to rip it up. Obviously Simba is ripped. I think she's been pretty good with it. This has been around for all of like the puppy teeth, puppy stages. So Simba's fared pretty well over the past couple months. But yeah, I would recommend something that they can just kind of have, drag around, take to the park with them. I don't know, she's totally attached to this thing. She loves it so much, and it gives me joy to know that she is happy with something that we gave her. But yeah, so maybe I'll let her play with it today. But my original plan, well, my plan now that he's like all ripped up and gross, is to actually open up the seams, take all the stuffing out of him, and then stitch him back up. Okay guys, well that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Please remember that these are just my opinions, and what's worked for Bear and I, what's worked for us might not work for you guys, and that's totally okay. But yeah, if you aren't already subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'd love to have you on this channel. If you like this content, please like my video. And until the next time, guys, I'll see you then. Bye.